back. Ever since the last one, kind of got back into the car, figuring out what we need to do since the exhaust completely fell off. So unfortunate. But we have the new exhaust, everything ready to go for that. So now we can get into it. So the exhaust type that I'm going with, instead of a normal 3-inch, is going to be an oval 3-inch. It's unfortunate that's dented a little bit, but yeah, oval 3-inch all the way back from the downpipe further back. So we have a bunch of fittings in here too, which are lovely. I bought just a pack of cutoffs, so that way I can actually see, these are all at 45-degree angles. So that way I'm able to do some pie cuts, essentially. And we have some that are going up and down and some that are turning. Then we have our 3-inch transition, just normal 3-inch to the oval 3-inch. So that way we can hook up a V-band one side, and then the other side will just be straight welded all the way back through and through. So this will connect to that, or it will connect to our muffler, which is 8 inches. It is a 3-inch as well. So that way this will either go here or this will go on the very end of that. And then that way it'll kind of quiet it down a little bit, so it's not just straight all the way through and through. But yeah, looks like quality stuff from Stainless Headers. Good stuff. And then we have a hard 90, just in case we either need more pie cuts or we just need to make a little bit of an extension. We can cut it off one end or the other, either way. But that way we have everything we need now. So now it's time to get some seat time in. Now it's time to just get this whole thing situated with the TIG welder, knock it out. So this is pretty much how it's going to line up. Transition, 3-inch oval muffler, probably on the end. Honestly, that'll probably just transition right into the long piece. Muffler will go further in the back, like a typical muffler, and then yeah, go from there. So we'll see if we can't get this lined up and put in a place where we like it. So the way we have it all lined up now, straight all the way back, it is pretty much going to line up directly in the center. So we'll use a couple pie cuts, go toward the passenger side, and then straighten it back out, put the muffler there, and then bring it out further, probably chop off a little bit of end of this, so that way we can just straighten it, and then pie cut it straight up so it's diagonal, and then come on back. So we'll see. We got to find the center line. We'll mark it with some tape so we know where we need to go, and then we should be good to start getting this going. Nice thing about this is it's pretty much going to be straight most of the way. So we just need to find our bend points or our cutting points, and then find out where we're going to mount it, because we'll have to hang it somewhere in here. I'm going to try my best to use that existing mount if possible, and then we'll have to put another one out a little bit further just to give it some support in the center, but should be good. Temporarily, but all the welds are done for this. They look terrible, but practice makes perfect. So we have that out of the way. Now we need to get our long piece connected and welded up, and we can figure out where we need to cut it. When it goes underneath the car, it goes all the way back underneath, and then we can start using some of the pie cuts to actually make the angles we need to make. So let's get to it. There's a decent gap. It's here on the other side, but we'll see how far we can get. Let's get into it. So we have the exhaust lined up, everything's set and looking good. Just trying to get the placement of everything so I can figure out where I'm going to attach it. I'm trying to use all the stock mounting points, so hopefully all this will line up properly and we should be good to go. So with the full exhaust, I need to cut the full tip. It doesn't need to be this long, so we're going to cut it off, and then we're going to use the temperature tape so we can actually connect the V-band connections and then angle it how we need to angle it. So I'm going to tape the pieces together, and then that way I can just tape it to the long pipe. And from there, I should be able to determine where I need to make my bends and turns and can go from there. And just like that, we have everything taped up, in place, looking good. So now we can go back in and then see if this is going to angle the correct direction, the way that we want it to go. Once we know that it's going the right direction, then we can tack it into place, and then we can get the rest of it set up. Nice and clean. All right, so currently this is where we're set at. I either have too much angle, which I think I'm okay with this angle. I just need to cut this back so then we can start, going the other direction, and then just kind of keep going up diagonal and out. So I'm gonna cut this, get some more bends in, and then weld those together, go in the opposite direction, and we should be set just to get around the diff. So the thought process is essentially, got this, cutting around so we can stop hitting, I think the transmission somewhere around there, and then go past the tunnel where the previous exhaust was, and then come back the other direction, and then oops, that out of the way, back the other direction. Oh, and it's not attached obviously. And then come up. Come on, we can get it. Stick through it with me. Holy. So essentially it will look something similar to this. I think we need to come probably a little more to the right one more time, so that way it's fully to the right, but yeah. Come out this way, then it'll start going up, so then we can attach another straight piece slightly just to give it a little length. Then we'll attach the muffler and go from there. Or the resonator, sorry, not muffler. All right, so we're taped up here on the exhaust. So, and then we tape this part up just to see if we want to add this length or if we want to just start going up, either which way. But yeah, let's test fit it, see what we got. Okay, so exhaust all the way down there, basically looking and connecting to our downpipe, pushed up against it. All the way back, we have our stock mounting position that we'll attach a rod on that for, and then we'll come all the way back here. Plenty of room all around, go around the diff, plenty of clearance room there, nowhere near this axle or any of that stuff. And then we'll basically try and make it go up and then straight out the back. So we'll see how that goes. All right, utilizing some zip ties. So we have everything here, clearing all the things like we want. It's angling the right direction that we want. It's just trying to figure out now how we want it to come up and out. So I want it to come out center, which I haven't marked here. Paint I'm laying under the car if that wasn't evident. And then the decision of whether I use this little extension piece or not, either way, to leave it straight as it is, start to angle it up, and then another straight piece, angle it a little to the right, and then make it center so that way it comes out. But I need to put this, I keep saying muffler, this resonator in somewhere. So I was thinking about putting it in right here, but then I'm like, it's like up at the top already and it's not centered yet. So I'm thinking about adding another pie cut here on the side to get it to come a little more this way, because where we're at right now, it's angled to the right, but it's not really angled enough to the right to where it'll be going to the center line. So decisions. I guess that's the struggle when you're making your own exhaust, right? But it's pretty cool. It's a fun process. So let me think about it and then go from there. So the way I went about doing it so far is we have to turn the angled portion that's going to attach there. This is going to go and angle it so it's going basically straight out to the center part of the exhaust. And then, yeah, we'll throw another piece in there to kind of angle it up. That's further over there. So I'm just debating if it's going to be a turn down or turn up, one of the two. So need to figure that part out, but otherwise we should be set. So I'm going to tack weld some of this stuff together. I'm going to try and use the stock mounting location because of where this ends up. So it's like, this should go straight up, and then we'll have something hanging from the top of that down to attach, and then we should be good for the weight of this anyway. So let's get to it. All right, so we got everything tack welded together. Looking pretty good, pretty good. A couple gaps in certain spaces, but definitely feeling a lot better about doing some of these welds. Feels like, and if the metal's touching, it'll just kind of fuse together on its own, but if not, I need to use a little bit of filler, no big deal. So, got that started. Now it's time to do this side and do the same thing. All right, so we got everything just kind of slightly welded going on this side. So now we're gonna tack these together. Then we can put it back under the car, make sure it's gonna look how we want it to before we weld everything up and go from there. All right, so we have the whole top part going all the way down, turning around the diff, and then going straight back diagonally up. So then let's throw this under the car and see what we got. All right, so we have it set up, zip tied in place, just to keep it in place to where I want to keep it. Everything, like I said, we have plenty of clearance going down that way. Everything's set up. It's a little high right now just because of everything being loose, but from there, we pretty much can run it all the way back. This is slightly diagonal, so there's a little bit of a gap here that we may have to figure out what we're gonna do about that. We just need to cut this piece to fit that, but either way. So yeah, then it comes straight all the way back. We'll cut the bumper, and then it should exit right underneath the bumper cut, essentially, to where it will be pointing right to the center of this, but it's gonna be right here, right underneath is the end goal. So it's not long enough necessarily. Once the bumper will be cut, it'll be a little shorter, which is fine because we have one extra piece and we have another piece over there we can cut if we need to extend it. But otherwise, yeah, I think this is the way we're gonna go at this point. So it's probably gonna be so loud, but all good. So we'll use the stock exhaust hanger here. We'll just weld on something on this, push it up, and then we should mount that. Should have a couple other things we can use. And then I'll probably put one back here as well, just to hold it in place. And then that should be good, I think. So 1, 2, 3 mounting locations, which should hold all the weight. So we should be good. So let me figure out how we're gonna attach this and go from there. Now we need to just go ahead and cut this end off, since this is what was dragging on the ground. I also need to replace this flex pipe at some point, but for now, this will do. So we'll cut the end off of this real quick so we can get the other one welded on. Now we can place this on here, and then we can weld this on. So we got our end cut off, getting everything ready to weld onto this end. That's just a dummy piece with a V-band clamp on it, so I can latch it in there. But otherwise, yeah, throw this on, weld it up real quick, and then the downpipe will be done and dusted. So started going through it, getting everything welded together. Just got a couple more sections to double fill just to make sure. But some spots better than others. But hey, it'll seal, it'll close, which is all we care about. So finish this up, and then we're off to finishing the rest of it in the back. And then here's the old bumper, and pretty much the line that's right here, all the way over, that's basically what I'm gonna use. It's a little warped just because it's been sitting for so long. But the bottom portion, that's where the difference is gonna come into play. I'm gonna try and keep a lot of that, so that way the flare still has something to hook onto at the bottom, and then just cut this flat, I guess. Not sure about flat, maybe diagonal, not really sure. I'll have to figure that out. But where this old one is, it's cut way too high. So it looks good for a car without flares on it, but with flares, unless I were to chop that back half, which I don't think I want to do, yeah. All right, I did a thing, pretty much cut it out. It's probably not exact just yet, but it's pretty close on both sides to kind of radius it down a little bit from the edge. So yeah, now that we have that kind of complete, we'll kind of flatten it out so it's all straight through and through, and then we should be good. I'll probably need to cut this a little bit higher because this is where the exhaust used to be. So we'll probably cut it like right above that and keep going. So we'll knock that out real quick and keep going. All right, with these handy tools here, grinder wheel and cut off disc, we were successfully able to cut the bumper all the way out. We're just gonna paint the edges so they're black, so you can't see them, of course, and then we can throw this on. So that's done. We can see where the exhaust line's up and go from there. So I made this little quick thing. Didn't want to make it a full video for cutting the bumper because it should be pretty quick anyway. So now it's done, let's throw it back on. Put some new clips in, so we're good there. Now we can just put the whole piece back up there and that'll be done. All right, so we pretty much have the whole exhaust in place where we want it. Figured out where we needed it. Just tack welded a couple more spots so we can get this kind of in place. And then we should be able to burn the rest of it. So now we got to tack weld a couple more sides just to make sure it's really sturdy. And then, yeah, we can finally burn the whole thing in. But downpipes back in, like I said before, this hooked up perfectly fine. No issues, nothing warped there, which is great. And then now we just need it to run all the way back. I'm pretty sure, still debating. I put up a poll, and I may throw that up here, which pretty much just said either it's going to be faced, I guess let me do it the correct way. It's either going to be faced upwards when it's coming out of the exhaust, or it's going to be faced downwards with the pie cuts, or just straight, like straight diagonal. Either way, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's basically right at the edge of where it's at now. So if I wanted it to, it's basically underneath the exhaust slightly. So if I wanted it to face down, I could probably cut off the tip of that, use the other one, weld it to this, and then it'll be kind of slightly down, or leave it as it is. It'll kind of be faced up. We'll see. We have some options we can do here. All right, we got everything set up. We got our mounting attachments done. We got a lot of clearance now compared to what we used to have, which is fantastic. Still low, but not crazy. We shouldn't scrape terribly when leaving the garage or driving around town anymore. The downpipe is still kind of freakishly low in comparison to the rest of it. So one day we'll just make that again. But for now, we're good. So I think this needs to come over just a smidge downward and then should be able to come out. So we'll do that, angle it down with the tips here in the end, and then we should be good. So we got to get this out so we can finish welding on the rest of the back of this and then cut this off. Probably cut that off tomorrow, but at least weld that piece all the way on. And then we can do the rest of the welding tonight. Let's get to it. All right, it's been a while since I've been in the garage, so finally back out here trying to get this exhaust completed. Watching a little bit of football. Watching, you can't even see it, the Raiders stomp on the Chargers. This is just an embarrassing game anyway, but yeah, so we're gonna finish this weld, try and finish up all the welding that we have to do, or the majority of it for tonight. So tomorrow morning, I have limited time to work on it, so I'll basically just try and put everything on and then go from there. So we'll try and get everything welded up as best we can. Let's get it. So got everything welded up. Everything's done. From this point back, we're looking good there. Now we just need to put on pie cuts. So the tape's falling apart already, but we'll basically just weld this in. Wish I had 4, but the pieces I had before just did not want to come apart. Probably because I tacked it a billion different times all over the place. So lesson learned there. But yeah, we'll do 3. Should be right at the edge of the bumper. So it may come out a little bit or it may not. Who knows? We'll see at the end, but let's knock it out, throw it in, and be good to go. Test it out. All right, so done with all the welding through and through. Pie cuts look like ass, but it's okay. First exhaust. Kudos to myself. So now we'll throw this in, put it up, and then, yeah, I think that's about it for today. All right, the exhaust is done. It's in its final resting place through and through. So the only thing is when you do the exhaust and it's not physically on the car, while this is in the center part, it is coming out. The exhaust is right here. So problem with that is that it's going to blow away this bumper. So we're probably just going to cut it out and then we'll be good. So other than that, that'll be it for this one. All right, now that it's done, still got to straighten it, but now that it's at least done, let's hear what it sounds like, shall we? It's probably going to be stupid loud. Keys. Something's loose. It's probably up there, but that doesn't sound bad at all. Sounds good, man. There's definitely an exhaust leak up here. Yeah, I can feel it. So we'll have to fix that. Per usual, it sounds like kind of a truck up here, but once that gets fixed, then we should be able to hear it all the way through and through, but it's not bad. Success. We'll give it a minute to warm up and then we'll hit it real quick just to hear it. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll catch y'all in the next one. See ya.